Baton Rouge can be a polarizing city depending on who you ask. Some people that either love it or hate it. I've lived here in Baton Rouge for over a decade and I love it. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about 13 reasons why I love living here in Baton Rouge. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Moving to Baton Rouge, and on this channel, we talk about everything there is to know about the greater Baton Rouge area. So if you'd like to know more about the area or you're considering making the move, feel free to subscribe, reach out if you have any questions, and let's go ahead and jump into this video. So for the first reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge is because it's a mid-size city. Now, Baton Rouge has a population of about 220,000, and depending on who you ask, some people may not even classify it as a mid-sized city. They say it's a small city. Those people are usually from larger cities like Houston or Los Angeles or New York. I can see 100% why you say Baton Rouge is a small city, but I think most people classify it as a mid-sized city. Now, with the size of Baton Rouge, I feel like I get a lot of the big city amenities, but it also still has like the charm and feel of a tight-knit community. So I feel like I get the best of both worlds. But with the amenities, we have great shopping options, we have great food options, we have artists and comedians and whatnot come through and perform. We also have a large university. So like we have all these amenities, but there's also like so many neighborhoods that are also a little bit outside of Baton Rouge that are like really nice and quiet, and you can get a rural feel depending on where you are. It really just depends, but I think you get a pretty nice combination of the small and the large city feel. For the second reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge is because of Mid-City Baton Rouge. So if you're not familiar, Mid-City is an area in Baton Rouge that is pretty much off of Government Street, which spans from downtown all the way to the Lobdell Goodwood area. And most people classify it as a neighborhood that is off of Government Street. So in this general area, what you're going to have is more of an artsier part of town. You're going to see lots of thrift stores, you're going to see coffee shops, and it's just a really fun and eclectic part of town. Not to mention, you get some of the best food options in the city. That's a huge reason why I like it. And it's also considered more walkable. They have sidewalks, bike lanes, which unfortunately you don't really see in too many other parts of the city. I think the neighborhoods are also very like picturesque. You're going to see some pink houses, some purple houses. You may see some small multi-family like duplexes, triplexes mixed in. So it's not like cookie cutter at all. It's very fun. It's cute, it's nice. You see people walking their dogs, go to the coffee shops. So it's very like easy, slow living. And there's also different events that are held throughout the year in Mid-City, like art crawls, and it's just a fun part of town. Another reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge has to be the Baton Rouge Airport. So you might be wondering, why am I talking about an airport on a list of reasons why I love living here in Baton Rouge? And I gotta say, it's extremely convenient. That a lot of people in Baton Rouge would go to outside of the Baton Rouge airport is the New Orleans airport. And while New Orleans isn't too far away, you know, it's about an hour away, it's not that bad, but it's just an extra layer of travel that you don't have to do on an already stressful part of your travel experience. If I fly into New Orleans, and the thought of driving about an hour and 15 after that 13-hour flight, I don't know. It drives me a little crazy. So the amazing things about the Baton Rouge airport has to be just being able to show up, 30 minutes before you're boarding, and it's very seamless, very easy. You are going to probably experience more layovers because there's not a ton of direct flights, but nonetheless, extremely convenient. For the next reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge has to be the park system. So Baton Rouge's park system is run by BREC, also known as BREC, and it's an award-winning park system, and it's extremely popular. So if you're moving to Baton Rouge and you're looking for a great park system, someplace with lots of trails, walking trails, and just general parks, you're gonna find it here in Baton Rouge for sure. We even have a water park, we have skate parks. I've personally used BREC parks as a place to run because that's my hobby. I really like running, so you can find lots of really nice trails in and around the area, especially on the outside. So pretty much anything in East Baton Rouge Parish, you're gonna find some good trails. And this park system is something you kind of take for granted once you leave, right? So I've gone and traveled all around the country, and I find myself going, wow, the park system is incredible in Baton Rouge, and you just don't realize it until you're outside of it. And on that same token, another reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge is the libraries. So East Baton Rouge Parish Library is an extremely strong library system. Just like the park system, Baton Rouge is known to have really great parks and great libraries. So if you ever go to an EBR library, you're gonna notice it's very up to date. They have lots of different things to choose from, and not just, just books. They have ebooks, they have music, video games, movies. It is a place where they hold different events throughout the year, and it's kind of like a community hub. If you're a book reader or somebody that just really enjoys a great library with lots of things to offer, you'll be very happy in Baton Rouge. And like I said, just like the parks, it is something that can get taken for granted once you're out of the area. And another reason why I really love living here in Baton Rouge is that it's more affordable. Put it simply, here in Baton Rouge, it is a bit more affordable than it is in the rest of the country. The median sales price in the United States in general is above $400,000, but here in Baton Rouge, it's about $265,000. For everything that is available here, I think that's an incredible deal. For me personally, I just love traveling in general all around the country, and with the lower cost of living here in Baton Rouge, it allows me to do those things. It allows me to go out to eat. It allows me to do all these different things that I really enjoy doing around the city and still live comfortably. You are, I think, if you move here from another part of the country, you are going to notice that, especially in a bigger city like a New York or a Los Angeles, San Francisco. You move here, you may realize, wow, I can buy a house now. I can afford rent like very easily. I do want to point out Baton Rouge, the sales price is around $265,000. But if you're looking in some areas like in Livingston Parish, like Denham Springs or Walker, you could be around the 240s pretty easily. And same thing for West Baton Rouge or a little bit farther up north. Now, I will say some areas can get a little bit more pricey. In Ascension Parish, usually the sales prices are a little bit higher, almost around like the 280, 290, and a little bit farther out into the Felicianas, like West Feliciana Parish, St. Francisville. For the next reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge, and this one's a given, you should already know this one, but the food. Now look, the food, it's a double-edged sword, right? I think a lot of people feel this, but because of our amazing food options, it feels like in some ways it's harder to eat healthy, because here in Louisiana, in the South in general, we like our food fried, we like it greasy, and just Southern food in general is not necessarily really healthy. We do have some healthy food options in healthy restaurants, but it feels like, I don't know. Personally, I love to eat like, some heavy stuff, especially on like a rainy day, and it rains in Louisiana. So while we do have those options, it can be hard to go to those options just because of, what you personally want to eat. If you're looking for food, we have some incredible Louisiana food. We have some incredible seafood. And over the past 10 years, Baton Rouge has definitely diversified their food options. It was not always like this, but we have some great diversity in our foods. Lots of Mexican food, lots of Vietnamese food, and it's incredible. The next reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge has to be the festivals. Now, this is another one of those things where you just don't realize it until you leave the area, but Baton Rouge has some incredible festivals going on all the time. One of the festivals include the Live After 5, which is a free festival in the spring and fall in downtown Baton Rouge. Live music, food, drinks, and it's just like a huge party in the middle of downtown. So I have the Baton Rouge Blues Festival, where you can listen to all of your favorite blues artists. 225 Fest, which brings all the best characteristics of the 225, which is Baton Rouge, together in downtown Baton Rouge. And we also have Night Market. The Night Market is also a relatively new festival, but it brings together a bunch of different Asian cultures and cuisines together, and it's an incredible celebration of Asian culture. But if you love to go out and experience the city of Baton Rouge and all of the amazing things that the city has to offer, I think you would love attending any of the festivals here in Baton Rouge. Another reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge has to be LSU and Southern University. If you didn't know, LSU is the state's flagship university. It's the reason I moved to Baton Rouge. It's an incredible university, lots of opportunity, and it's a huge employer here in the city. I just can't stress having like a high caliber program like LSU, their sports programs and everything right down the road. So if there is a major game, like a football game, major basketball game, or anything like that, it's very easy if you live in Baton Rouge to just go right down the road and go to a game. And of course, tailgating and all the other events that go on throughout the year. LSU is, like I said, I'm a proud alumni. I think it's incredible, but it's definitely a staple here in Baton Rouge, and people love it and are extremely proud to have gone to LSU. And right down the road, we have Southern University, which is the state's flagship HBCU university. So Southern is an incredible university here in Baton Rouge, and it's also part of the Southern University system, which is the only HBCU system in the United States, which is incredible. And one of the biggest draws that I love about Southern University is the human jukebox. The whole marching band is just something that you have to witness. So if you are going to Baton Rouge and you're visiting Southern or anything like that, try to go to a football game, go to a battle of the bands, because it's definitely something you need to see. The next thing I love about living here in Baton Rouge is definitely the culture. Now, if you're coming from out of state, you may already know that the culture here in Baton Rouge is pretty great, but you know, if you're watching this and you're from New Orleans or Lafayette, you may be going, what culture in Baton Rouge? Before New Orleans and Lafayette gets in the comments, Baton Rouge feels like a microcosm of Louisiana. So we have a good mixture of Creole and Cajun culture here in Louisiana, and I feel like you get like a lot of like the best of both worlds in a lot of the sense. Baton Rouge's culture is a little bit less distinct than New Orleans and Lafayette, but with that said, you compare Baton Rouge to other parts of the country and it stands out incredibly. There's a lot of history here, the people, the architecture. I think just being here and really soaking it all in, you'll start to get an idea of what it feels like to live here in Baton Rouge. The reason I love living here in Baton Rouge has to be the trees. So if you live here in and around Baton Rouge, you probably know what I'm talking about, but if you've ever driven through the Garden District, South Downs, or a lot of the neighborhoods in and around Mid-City, you'll notice these beautiful oak trees that it just makes everything so picturesque. Even going down the interstate, there's lots of greenery, and it's something that you may not notice if you don't live here in and around the area. So, and it's something a lot of people take for granted once they leave. I have some friends that are in California that have lived in Baton Rouge for a few years, and they talked about whenever they moved back to California, how much they missed all the trees and greenery in their area. For the 12th reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge, it has to be the location. The location of Baton Rouge is extremely convenient to the other major cities here in South Louisiana. So the southeast, we have New Orleans, which of course is an incredible city. It's the most populated, and they have a ton of major things going on in New Orleans all the time. And to the west, we have Lafayette, which is Cajun country. It's the place to get some of the best Cajun food here in Louisiana. So having both of these cities right within, I would say maybe an hour or so of each other, is convenient. If I lived in Lafayette, it would take me a little bit longer to get to New Orleans. Same thing, if I lived in New Orleans, it would take me a little bit longer to get to Lafayette. But being in Baton Rouge, you're right in the middle. As somebody that drives a lot for my profession, it's really nice, I'm not gonna lie. For the 13th reason why I love living here in Baton Rouge, Mardi Gras. Now, most people associate Mardi Gras with New Orleans, which totally makes sense, but Baton Rouge also has a great Mardi Gras. We have a ton of fun, lots of parades, and it lasts probably about a little over a month. But whenever it's Mardi Gras season, we have a parade like every weekend in a bunch of different neighborhoods. It's a lot of fun, lots of family fun, family friendly events, and then some not so family friendly events. You know, it is Louisiana. Baton Rouge likes to get down. Parades like the South Downs parades. We even have a new one, the Shenandoah parade. And then we have Spanish Town, which is incredible. I went to Spanish Town. Like, I've been living here for over a decade, but I went to the Spanish Town parade for the first time about 3 years ago. Man, it was incredible. So Spanish Town is a neighborhood here in Baton Rouge, located close to downtown, or it's in the downtown area. They have a mascot of a pink flamingo. So if you're ever driving down anywhere around Baton Rouge to see the pink flamingo, just know that it's kind of connected to the Spanish Town area and Spanish Town parade. And I'm talking some huge, massive floats all around. Lots of pink. That's usually the color theme that is associated with Spanish Town. And it's just a lot of fun. It's not super family friendly. I mean, they have families there and everything, but it's not super like PG. It's just not, just a heads up in case you go. But if you don't care and you're out there to have a good time, you will without a doubt have a good time. Now, that was some of the reasons why I love living here in Baton Rouge. Are there more reasons? Of course. But if you would like to know more about living here in the greater Baton Rouge area, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. All of my contact information is going to be in the description down below. And of course, if you'd like to stay connected with more Baton Rouge content, please feel free to subscribe, leave a like for the video because it helps the channel a ton, and thanks for watching.